Ah, rumors. They spread like wildfire, often with little regard for the truth. One such rumor claims that Emperor Menelik II of Ethiopia, in a moment of astonishing generosity, or perhaps lapse of judgment, leased Djibouti to France for 99 years. This tale, whispered in hushed tones, has persisted for decades. It's a juicy story, isn't it? Imagine a whole country leased out like a flat in Addis Ababa. But as with most juicy stories, the truth is a tad less dramatic. The reality, as we'll soon uncover, is far more nuanced. Hold on to your hats, dear readers, as we delve into the annals of history and separate fact from fiction. To understand this intriguing tale, we must rewind a bit, before Emperor Menelik II's reign. In the mid-19th century, France, eager to expand its global influence, cast its eyes on the strategic port of Djibouti. They saw its potential as a gateway to the Red Sea and beyond. Through a series of treaties with local Afar sultans, the indigenous rulers of the region, France steadily gained control of the territory that would become French Somaliland. This process, beginning in 1862 with the purchase of Obok, culminated in 1885 with the establishment of French Somaliland, with Djibouti as its capital. These early agreements, it's important to note, did not involve Emperor Menelik II or Ethiopia. The stage was set for our story, with France firmly entrenched in Djibouti. But where, you might ask, was Emperor Menelik II during all this? Well, let's just say he was busy consolidating his power back in Ethiopia. Menelik II, an ambitious leader, was focused on unifying the various Ethiopian kingdoms and fending off external threats. His efforts were directed towards strengthening his military and political influence, ensuring that Ethiopia remained a formidable force in the region. While France was busy establishing its foothold in Djibouti, Menelik II was laying the groundwork for what would become a significant chapter in Ethiopian history. His strategic vision and diplomatic acumen would later play a crucial role in shaping the destiny of the Horn of Africa. So, as we delve deeper into this narrative, keep in mind the parallel paths of these two powers, France in Djibouti and Menelik II in Ethiopia, each setting the stage for a dramatic interplay of ambitions and destinies. Emperor Menelik II ascended to the Ethiopian throne in 1889. By then, France was already well established in Djibouti. Menelik II, focused on unifying and modernizing Ethiopia, initially had little direct involvement in the affairs of Djibouti. However, the growing French presence on his doorstep was difficult to ignore. Menelik II was acutely aware of the strategic importance of the coastline, even though Ethiopia didn't control it directly. He also understood the potential economic benefits of access to the sea. While he did not participate in the early treaties that ceded Djibouti to France, he inherited the reality of a French neighbor. This set the stage for the crucial agreements to come, agreements that would fuel the persistent rumor of a 99-year lease. Now let's talk railways, shall we? Railways have always been more than just a means of transportation. They are symbols of progress, innovation, and the relentless human spirit to connect distant lands. In the late 19th century, railways were all the rage. They were the arteries of burgeoning industrial nations, pumping life into economies and societies. They represented progress, connection, and of course, economic opportunity. Railways shrank distances, making the world feel smaller and more accessible. France, keen to connect Djibouti to the Ethiopian hinterland, saw a chance to kill two birds with one stone. They could enhance trade routes and extend their colonial influence deeper into Africa. They proposed a railway line from Djibouti to Addis Ababa, a project that would boost trade and solidify their influence in the region. This ambitious plan promised to transform the economic landscape of both territories. Emperor Menelik II, always a pragmatist, saw the potential benefits of the railway for his landlocked nation. He understood that a railway could open up new avenues for trade and development, and so, in 1894, the railway agreement was signed. This agreement marked the beginning of a new era of connectivity and cooperation between Ethiopia and France. This agreement granted a French company the concession to build and operate the railway. It was a monumental task that required immense resources and coordination. This is where the infamous 99-year figure pops up. The concession was indeed for 99 years, a common practice at the time to ensure long-term investment and commitment. The concession indeed was for 99 years. However, it's important to note that this was a commercial concession specifically for the railway, not a lease of the entire territory of Djibouti. However, and this is crucial, it was a commercial concession for the railway, not a lease of the entire territory of Djibouti. This distinction is often misunderstood but is vital for historical accuracy. This distinction, often lost in translation and rumor, is vital. It clarifies the nature of the agreement and the intentions behind it. In 1897, the Franco-Ethiopian Treaty further solidified the arrangement, clearly recognizing Djibouti as French territory. This treaty laid the groundwork for future cooperation and development in the region. However, a common misconception persists. Was this truly a lease agreement? The answer is no. To be absolutely clear, at no point did Emperor Menelik II lease Djibouti to France. This widespread misunderstanding has endured for years, but the truth is far more nuanced. The agreement in question was not a lease, but a carefully defined commercial concession. The 99-year term was strictly related to the railway concession. This means that the French were granted the right to build and operate the railway for that period, but it did not equate to owning the land or the country itself. Think of it like this. If your neighbor allows you to use their driveway for 99 years, it doesn't mean you own their entire house, does it? You simply have the right to use that specific part of their property for a set amount of time. The railway concession, while significant, was a commercial agreement, not a transfer of sovereignty. It was a strategic move to enhance trade and connectivity, benefiting both parties involved. The myth of the lease likely stems from a misunderstanding of the agreement's nature and a lack of access to the original documents. Over time, these misunderstandings have been compounded by sensational stories and simplified narratives. It's much easier to spread a simple, sensational story than to delve into the intricacies of international treaties, wouldn't you agree? The truth often requires a deeper look and a willingness to understand the complexities involved. But we, dear readers, are not ones to shy away from the truth, however complex it may be. We seek to uncover the real story, no matter how intricate or detailed it might be. Let's look at the evidence, shall we? By examining the original documents and understanding the context, we can dispel the myths and get to the heart of the matter. Now let's set the record straight. What does the historical evidence actually tell us? The answer is unambiguous. The Railway Agreement of 1894 and the Franco-Ethiopian Treaty of 1897, both publicly available documents, clearly outline the terms agreed upon. The treaties, written in both French and Amharic, leave no room for misinterpretation. They explicitly mention a railway concession, not a territorial lease. Furthermore, numerous scholars of Ethiopian history, myself included, have thoroughly debunked the myth of the 99-year lease. The evidence is overwhelming. Ethiopia never leased Djibouti to France. The 99-year figure, while real, pertained solely to the railway. But what about Djibouti itself? This brings us to a pivotal moment, its independence and the beginning of a new chapter. That chapter begins in the mid-20th century. The winds of change swept across Africa, carrying with them the irresistible force of decolonization. In 1977, after a referendum, Djibouti gained its independence from France, marking a new era for the nation. Ethiopia, under Emperor Haile Selassie at the time, was among the first countries to recognize Djibouti's independence, demonstrating respect for its sovereignty. This recognition further reinforces the fact that Ethiopia never held any territorial claim over Djibouti. The railway, completed in 1917, continued to operate, a testament to the enduring legacy of the 1894 agreement. It remains a vital link between the two nations, facilitating trade and fostering economic cooperation. Ethiopia and Djibouti today, a strong partnership. A relationship that has grown into an indispensable economic and strategic alliance. The two countries are bound by strong economic ties, with Djibouti serving as Ethiopia's main gateway for international trade. The railway, now jointly managed, continues to play a crucial role in their economic partnership. Beyond trade, Ethiopia and Djibouti cooperate closely on regional security, sharing intelligence and collaborating to combat terrorism and cross-border crime. From an international legal perspective, the myth of the 99-year lease holds no water. Djibouti's independence is internationally recognized and its sovereignty is undisputed. The historical record is clear: Ethiopia never leased Djibouti to France. So, why does this myth persist? The answer lies in three crucial misunderstandings. Let's unpack them and finally lay this misconception to rest. The tale of Ethiopia leasing Djibouti to France for 99 years is, quite simply, a myth. It's a classic case of a misunderstood detail, the railway concession, morphing into a sensational but ultimately false narrative. The truth, as we've uncovered, is far more nuanced and reflects the complex history of the region. It highlights the importance of critical thinking, of questioning what we hear, and of seeking out reliable sources of information. Next time you hear someone mention the 99-year lease, you can impress them with your newfound knowledge. Spread the word, not the rumor. Not the